how to deal with the how while manifesting. Hey guys, hope you are well. And in this video, I will be talking about how to deal with the hows and the whens of manifestation. So, there are many different schools of the concept of manifestation. Some people talk about law of attraction, some people talk about law of assumption, some people call it law of belief. So, there are many different ways through which we talk about it. And everyone has a different assumption, everyone has a different belief system, everyone believes manifestation works a different way, right? And all of these interpretations are at some level correct, but one thing that all of these teachers, all of these schools of thinking will agree on is that the how and the when is not in our control. This is something that I have seen be a very big reason why people don't end up getting what they want, because the how part of the manifestation can be quite concerning. It can be slightly disturbing. See, whenever we are wanting to manifest something, we are starting from a place where we don't truly have it. Now, it can be money, it can be love, it can be relationships, whatever it is. At this current moment, we don't have it, and we don't like the fact that we don't have it, right? We want to reach to a place where we do. There is a middle transition period which we call the bridge of events that takes place, and that transforms two things. It changes two things. The first thing that it changes is it changes my circumstances. So the thing that I want has to come into my life in some way, right? And that natural process through which it has to come to me has to take place. That is one reason, and that this process can sometimes take time. And number two is this process of me going from where I am to where I want to be is to change me. It's to make me the version of me who has what I want or can maintain it. I will help you with the help of an example. Let's say I'm talking about becoming someone who wants a relationship, right? So as I will go through this journey from where I don't have a relationship to where I do, I will learn a lot of things. I will have to learn more about myself. I will have to learn more about women. I will have to learn more about relationships. I will understand different attachment styles. Maybe I will go through a few circumstances where I will be tested by the circumstances in front of me so that I can showcase my new self better. All these processes are processes that we will need to go through in some way, shape, or form to become the version of me who has what they want. Now, from where you are to where you want to go, the process can be very, very slow, or it sometimes can be time consuming depending on where you are starting from, right? So, the middle part is a very big concerning factor for a lot of people, including me, because in the middle we don't know what will happen, we don't know how things will change, and we don't know what it will lead to. So handling the how can actually be a very, very, very important part of your manifestation journey. So let's talk about three ways through which you can handle the how in a very constructive way. You can use it to your advantage and you can get better at it. The first way to handle the how is to understand that I am only comparing this with my version of the how. So we all have a version of how things will or should go based on our own conditioning and our own life, right? So for example, let's say my knowledge about life comes from movies or books or my experiences with friends, right? As I'm talking to these people, as I'm learning more and more about them, I'm learning things from books, I am seeing events happen, I am reading situations, I'm like a lot of things happen that are giving me a lot of knowledge about the world, right? Because I cannot go through everything myself, so I take that knowledge from the world. Now, based on all these stories that I have heard and all the definitions that I have developed, I have a certain definition of how the how should be, right? So if I'm asking for something, I'm expecting a certain how, but my how is not necessarily going to be the same as the universe's how, because my how is based on my own experiences, my own past, my own conditioning. It can also, quite frankly, be quite limiting because I only know things that I have experienced. But the universe, the subconscious, God, whatever you want to call it, has a better how in place because it knows more than me, plus it has more experience, plus the way that they can orchestrate event, I cannot. What happens is we have this version of the how, and when something in the middle isn't happening exactly how we predicted it would, that is when we start reacting. So when a circumstance happens or something happens according to something that we were not predicting, we start to compare the two and we start to react. This is where we actually end up sabotaging our manifestations. So whenever something in front of me is actually not going in the manner that I thought it would, a very good way to handle it is to tell yourself that it's just not going in the direction I thought it would. But the subconscious knows better than me, and I would let it take the reins. If I have done my task of focusing on what I want, detaching, changing my actions, then the how part is not for me. It is something that has to be taken care of by my subconscious. So when we let it allow to go, like when we allow it to fully let go, then we are able to get a better version of it, and then we are not so resistant towards the how. Another way that I actually end up telling myself is that if I would know the how, I would sabotage it, because a lot of times the things that we are going through, we don't even realize where they are leading us, right? But if I would know that, if I will go through this thing, it will lead me to this, I would somehow sabotage it because I wouldn't take the learning from it, right? So it's important for me to not know the how, and it's not something that I can predict. Number two, connect the dots looking backwards. So I did this one activity and I still do it till date. So for the past 4 to 5 years, I know each and every day what I did. So I journal and I keep track, right? This is in matters of what kind of resistance did I have, what kind of doubts did I have, how did I try to handle it, how did I try to manage it. And I also have written down if I finished my routine or not, if I have finished my meditation, my breath work, all these things or not, what were the major triggers for the day and how did I handle them. When I look back, right, I have this 4-year record that I haven't missed even a day. So when I look back in the past 4 years, anytime I'm worried about something, right, for example, I'm worried about something now, I know that in the past I have been worried about something similar at some point, right? So let's say I find that out. Let's say on day 33rd of when I was writing these journals, I got triggered about money, for example, and I'm triggered about money now. I can look back on that day 33. I can check what happened 2 3 days later, and let's say on day 37th I am already better. So I can connect and check that, what, these things will get better because they did so in the past. I know if you don't have a journal for the past 4 years, that's absolutely fine. There will be events in your life that you would remember where you maybe were triggered in a similar way. You maybe thought that nothing will work out, or you thought that things will not go in the direction that I want. But if you will now look back, all those events, or at least most of them, taught you something. They either taught you about yourself, they taught you about life, they taught you about manifestation, they changed you in some way, and they got you to where you are at right now. And even if you don't like the life that this version of you has, you wouldn't eventually trade it for the world, because this version of you also has the tools to change your life right now, right? So when we realize that, when we are looking backwards, we are able to connect dots, and we are able to see that situations are always not worth reacting to. We don't always have to worry about the how, because eventually it turns out for me in some way, shape, or form. This really, really helps when we are somewhere reacting to the concept of the how in the manifestation. The last one, which is very important and is actually the only long term solution to this, is to put yourself in small, uncertain situations. So, life is full of uncertainty, right? This is not just in this area, but in every area. Every day we wake up, we face some level of uncertainty. It's just that we get so habitual to it that we don't even realize it. So, every time we are using the phone, using the internet, we are waking up, we are driving a car, in some way, shape, or form, we are facing uncertainty. What happens is, uncertainty is not bad, it's a requisite of life. We just have a very negative perception to it because of two reasons. One, in the past, whenever we were uncertain, it sometimes have turned out bad, because of which in that moment we choose to fear rather than to have faith. Number two, somewhere we don't trust our ability to handle the uncertainty. That is why we get worried when we get uncertain, because we don't actually feel that we would be able to handle it in a very good way. The best way to actually deal with this is to put yourself into small uncertain situations on a daily basis. This will help us in two ways. The number one way that it will help is because it will teach me that I can handle uncertainty. So on a daily basis, if I will put myself in a position like that, this will teach me that I can handle uncertainty. The second thing that it will help me with is that it will tell me that things will not always turn out for the worse. So this will give me some evidence and proof that when something in front of me is not going exactly how I want it to be, it is not always a reason to react, because there is no evidence or there is no proof that it will always turn out bad. Sometimes it can turn good, sometimes it can turn better than good, which it has many times in your life. The mere fact that you are here, you are alive, you have enough money to be able to purchase an internet connection, that you are able to listen to this video, you have your hands, your legs, whatever body that you're blessed with. You have to understand that this all is actually relevant because you are very, very lucky to be here. So predicting the worst case scenario feels okay, but life has always went your way. Every tough day that you have ever had, you have faced it somehow, and that is what has got you here. So understanding these things is going to actually create a lot of benefit for you and will help you loads moving forward. So I hope this video helps you. I hope you are able to take benefit from it and you are able to apply it towards the hows in your manifestation journey. I will see you guys in the next one.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe and share if you like the video. The link for my one-on-one coaching, my self-help courses, and my free newsletter are in the description box below.